A quick lesson on perspective. Not that you all need that, but that truck over there, right? When that truck over there comes thundering past your tiny car like a Ford Fiesta, then you will really feel it rumble by you. But that, and here's a few more examples. Look at that. It's tiny, relatively speaking, when compared to the ship. Look at that. That ship would swallow that, and the crew wouldn't even notice the change in weight. But that truck comes thundering by you or anywhere near you on the motorway at 100 kilometers an hour, and you are going to know all about it. So that's perspective. Things further away look small. Things closer become larger. Not really larger, of course, physically larger, but in your perspective, you're larger. And this is why this ship here will, be pretty big from here. If I went and stood next to it, it would feel like a mountain. And as it sails away, well, gosh, it just continues to get smaller and smaller. That smallness will eventually translate into it disappearing from view, and the reason why it appears to disappear bottom up is simply because of angular resolution. The higher I go, the further I'm able to see the ship, and the less I lose the lower section. The lower I go, the quicker I lose the lowest sections. Because as we all know, that point at the top of the ship would be the crow's nest. It would be the highest point on the ship, and therefore the point of the best vantage point. Equally, any light on the top of that ship would be seen at a distance before any of the lights lower down on the ship. I mean, this is all common sense. If you were in a hot air balloon, 1,000 feet, 2,000 feet above it, then there would be no losing of it from the below. And your perspective being more top down would really make little allowance for the issue of angular resolution. So that's my little piece for the day, from Durban Harbour. Cheers. And as you can see, this ship has been prepared for a journey north up the globe. That's why they've got to weight the tail so that the nose can forge uphill a little bit more easily. Everybody in shipping knows that. There's the blood moon rising over Durban Harbour.
Crazy times.
Crazy moon.
August 2021.
I'm literally the only person in this superstore willing to do this when this is bad. So that I don't get sick. That's a form of communism that you never. Yeah, you don't mind if my wife. But I try and tell people this truth is that we can't make each other sick, and there's no proof. That's why they call it germ theory. This idea that I can make you sick. But you've been on many taxis and you've got 10 people in the taxi. Thought about if they were sick. Would you make them sick if you basically in taxis? If you go visit your grandma at hospital, it doesn't mean you're going to come home and get sick because you're around other sick people. They've never been able to prove it. So as far as I can see, is that what they've done is they've taken the regular flu, said you're dying of something unusual, and then they put us in the mask and the hand gel. And not to hug each other.
It made us fearful.
So the sanitizer goes into not hugging your loved ones, your grandma, your granny. She's 85 years old, 90 years old now. She can't hug her grandchildren anymore. You know how upset that would make her. They can't visit her anymore. How upset that would make her. The loneliness is going to kill people just like that. So yes, maybe you're starting to see a few more people die, and all this fear and all this covering up and the stale breath is causing more people to get sick. So the cycle of creating a pandemic is continuing, but there was never a pandemic at the start. Maybe over time it will become a pandemic, but they made it from the TV. Because we are creators, actually. We are God's creators.
trick us into thinking that we are just monkeys and we came from evolution and, you know, we live in this random place in space and everything is dangerous and so on, rather than that God created this place perfect for you and me to live in with enough abundance from the trees if we allow them to grow naturally, that we wouldn't have to fight each other for food. And that's what they've done, is they've created this full world in which we can't even, you know, it used to be black and white in this country. Now it's like mask, no mask, vaccine, no vaccine. You know, are you buying into what the government is telling you this time around, or are we going to realize that we've been tricked again? And we all need to come together, realize who we are, our divinity, our connection to Christ. With our connection intact, we won't be using the government as a master, because what happened? Man came first, and then government. And now government is controlling man. Man made government not to control him, but to kind of take care of some of himself. Now if I can tell you to cover your faith, that makes no difference. So I'd say your health is being affected by hunting. Aside from making, like I said, you remember back in the day, if you walked into a bank looking like this, they would chase you away. But now they chase you away if you don't come looking like that. You can't see. Yeah, no, it's a gangster's paradise now, because all the gangsters can walk around legitimate, like covering my face. You can't see who I am. I can do what I want. Yeah.
That's what we need, longevity. Question is, can we make the right decisions for ourselves despite the insanity and the pressures that are constant and ever changing? Sovereignty, divinity, these are our things to take back. I think we can only take them back in a way of love. And as we see longevity easing her way into Durban Harbour, we realize that sometimes the biggest changes are made in quiet. Now, this is the back of the ship. It's quite big, isn't it? That on there in the top deck where the windows are, that's where my dad would get lowered by a helicopter onto a ship like this. Right here. I might even be able to film the helicopter. They winch him down onto the ship, and then he instructs the crew how to pull it into harbour safely and connect with the tugs and so on. My dad was in this harbour 40 years. Loved his life here, his career here. He must have come through this bluff, through this little entranceway into the large Durban Harbour, one of the biggest ports in Africa. I must have been many times through here and I thought, oh, I'm going home. This is my last ship of the day, and then I'll be home to the family. Anyway, by the by. Yeah.
How many deers are here?
2. Oh, of these flowers?
Yeah.
They're beautiful, aren't they?
How many of them? How many of them?
How many? Not that many, but each one has about 40. Colourful. Colourful.
Other ones.
Now,
Beautiful.
how many of them they go?
It's probably about
How many?
30.
So how many of those ones they got together?
timing. Bell ringer. Give us a hoon. Oh, on the rope comes tides. Pulling the ship now. Just another day in Durban. And the port just keeps pumping through the ship, so no slowdown here. Been busy as I'd expect. I should also add, firstly, thank yous to the Patreons. I'm going to list those names very soon, and those who have supported us so far. But I just want you guys to know there's been one or two cracking encounters on the street with people. This morning I was doing some chalker about 6 o'clock, and I actually let rip a little bit like I did in Oxford. And then a few days ago I encountered a group of about 15 young black men who were maybe in their early 20s, thereabouts, and you know, pretty trendy and hip and whatnot. They were sitting on the beat on the steps, and I had this conversation that lasted about 8 minutes, and at the end of it they gave me a standing ovation. They weren't so sure at the beginning, but they really, and they were chanting something like, whoa, you know, like this guy was on fire. So I wish I'd had the camera for that, but Andrea caught me with a guy with the camera. When she pulled the camera out, actually it did throw me a little bit off my stride, so what you got on camera isn't all that smooth, but I still got it, you know, when it comes to talking to people, and I'm making a big difference when I do. So, gotta go. Cheers for now.